Hi, my name's Kelly. I'm a CBT therapist and psychologist, and today I want to talk to you about compassionate letter writing. So, the idea behind this way of working is compassionate letters can help people or yourself to engage with their problems from a different perspective, with a focus on understanding and being warm and kind to themselves rather than being critical. And we want to try and bring this into either in the therapy room or if it's something that you're doing yourself. And we click on that emotional system, that kind, caring. And in doing so, we can address whatever problem we need to do, but do it from a position of being compassionate, being caring, being understanding, from a place that isn't critical. And by doing so, we can integrate that feeling of kindness and compassion to help us to be able to address or deal with some of our other difficulties, rather than thinking of things in a more negative and critical way. So I want to explain how we can do it. And by doing it, it really is tackling into those, or tipping into those emotions, those compassionate emotions, and it just soothes our system. And by doing so, it actually can reduce the likelihood of those negative thoughts or behaviours coming out by us being able to focus on writing these letters. And you can teach yourself or others that you're working with just to be kinder and more compassionate and develop a new relationship with themselves or with yourself by writing this letter to yourself, but doing it in a compassionate way. With compassionate letter writing, everyone has something that maybe that they don't like or they're critical about. There's something that maybe causes them to feel shame or feel some sort of insecurity, that they're not good enough or that they feel like a failure. When that happens, we can get stuck in those feelings of criticalness. And that when we do that, then that just kind of creates that cycle. But when you feel bad about yourself, you often speak to yourself in an unhelpful manner. So being able to do this in a more compassionate way can help that. So thinking about the area or thing that you struggle with, whether that's your appearance, maybe it's relationship difficulties, whether it is anything that you notice that you become critical for. So you either want to do this with handwriting or on a computer. And to start off with, I want you to write but to think about an imaginary friend. There'll be another option in a second. And this unconditional friend is unconditionally wise, they're kind, they're compassionate. And imagine that this friend can see all of your strengths and all of your weaknesses, including the thing that you don't like about yourself or the thing that you're most critical for. And this friend recognises the limits of human nature, and they're kind and accepting and forgiving. And write a letter to yourself from the perspective of this imaginary friend, focusing on the perceived inadequacy that you feel that you have or that you tend to critique or judge yourself for. So think about, what would this friend say to you? This friend is so compassionate and caring, and they're talking to you from a perspective of unlimited compassion. And if you think that this friend would suggest possible changes you could make, how would they be suggestions that would embody feelings of care and encouragement and support rather than the ones that you normally do? So it's not about that if there are some areas that you could improve on or you could change, then write that down, but doing it from a space of care and encouragement. But as I said, if you would prefer, you could write a letter as if you were talking to a dearly loved friend who was struggling with the same concern that you have. And thinking about, what words of compassion would you offer? What words of support would you offer? If they did want to make changes, how would you support them with that? What would you say to them about making those changes? And then once you've written the letter, and I would say spend 20 minutes to half an hour maybe writing the letter. Once you've done that, go back and read the letter, applying those words to yourself, and see what happens. And when you do that, the where it's being written from, remember, it's a person that cares deeply about you. But hold in those feelings and try, if there's any discomfort which may come up, just recognise that. But savour the feelings of kindness, of compassion, of empathy. And then put the letter down and continue to read it to yourself. Read it as many times as you want, really letting those words sink in. Feel all of those feelings of compassion as it pours into you, soothing you and comforting you with love, connection and acceptance. And this is an amazing way to do it, and you need to continue to read it to start to get rid of any of those negative or those unhelpful thoughts. And whenever you need to remind yourself of it, all you need to do is to read that letter again. You can always rewrite the letter, but it always is coming from a place of care and compassion. I hope that helps to kind of explain how you can use compassionate letter writing, whether that is for yourself or with someone else. Is a great tool, and it's one that needs some practice, so you'll have to continue to read it or maybe continue to write it, but I promise if you do so, it will continue to make changes for you. I hope you found that helpful. Please check out my other videos on YouTube and like and subscribe. Thank you.